Critter Trades here, and today I'm going to teach you how to know if your dealer's trying to scam you on your mileage interval service. So dealers recommend maintaining your vehicle at the dealer, and they have certain service intervals like 60,000 miles, 100,000 miles, where they recommend getting a laundry list of items done to your car to make sure your car is in tip-top shape and working the way it should. Now the problem here is that a lot of people are a little skeptical of dealers because some of these services can be very expensive, and some of them are either not necessary or they can be very easily done on your own. And so you need to really do your research on which ones you want the dealer to do and which ones you think you can do on your own. Let's take a look at what Subaru recommends to change at 60,000 miles. The only things that they recommend to change are these 6: the oil and filter, spark plugs, the air conditioning and engine air filters, rotate your tires, and replace the brake fluid. Now, let's take a look at what the dealer has on their list of things to change for a 60,000 mile service. As you can see, this entire list is what they recommend to have done for 60,000 mile intervals. Now, I've highlighted some colors on here. If you notice, everything that's in yellow, which is almost everything on the list, these are where it says inspect. And if you've ever gone to a dealer, a lot of times they do a free multi-point inspection. Almost everything in yellow and actually almost everything in blue will be done on a free inspection if you ever bring your car in for service. So all the yellow and blue stuff, the dealer would do this for free. And again, the reason they do that is because it's extremely easy for them to do. It doesn't take them very long. They take a look, make sure they don't see anything that's broken or clearly leaking fluid. It's probably not a bad idea to have an inspection done, but you shouldn't be doing it during your 60K service because they're going to charge you a crazy amount of money for it. Blue on this list is things that are recommended, or it says if needed. So again, these are almost the same as the yellow things. They're just going to make sure that they aren't leaking, they aren't broken, or there's clearly nothing wrong with them. A lot of these are very easy to do. For example, like your cabin air filter, your engine air filter, those you can look up on YouTube for about 5 minutes and do them yourself for like $10. And they'll charge anywhere from $50 to like $150 to do these services. The other thing you need to look at is if it says inspect for things like brake fluid, differential, the transmissions, they are not going to change your fluid. They're just going to make sure that it's topped up. They probably won't even do that. Honestly, they're probably just going to look to see if it's leaking, because if it's leaking, they're going to want to charge you for a whole new diff and a whole new diff service. If it's not leaking, they're just going to check it off that they checked it. And again, you're going to be paying them maybe $100 for them to do this. Literally, all they're doing is looking at it and seeing if there's fluid leaking out from it. So be very careful on what the verbiage says on the sheet. Another thing you need to look out for is, I would recommend looking up the OEM manufacturer for the parts that they're looking to replace. For example, on these Subaru Impreza and Crosstreks, they recommend changing the spark plugs at around 60,000 miles. Subaru does. I went on NGAK's website, the company that makes the spark plugs for these cars, and they recommend either 100,000 or 120,000 miles to change out the spark plugs. So some of this maintenance is not necessary at the mileage intervals that they recommend. So again, you need to do your research and look into some of these things a little bit deeper before you go start just saying, okay, I just do it all for $1,500. And really, you could do a few of them on your own, and then if you wanted to get the diffs and the transmission flushed or changed, you could just pay them specifically for those specific jobs, and it will be much less, and you can save yourself a lot of money that way. So make sure you do your homework, look into what is really necessary, what they're actually going to do versus look at. Things like tire rotations, they sometimes will, this is really crummy, but a lot of dealers won't even do tire rotations. So mark your tires if you do choose to do that. Know which ones, maybe put a chalk mark on a few so you can know where they were, see if they actually did it. That's another really quick tip to help you save from getting scammed at the dealer. So let me know some of your other tips in the comments for not getting scammed at the dealer.